All right, so we are here in Genesis 32, and this Parsha Vayishlach, and he sent, meaning Yaakov, Jacob, sending Malachim, messengers to his brother Esau, who he is meeting for the first time in 20 years. And last time they saw each other, Esau said, "I'm going to kill him." So tensions are high. So we read through to when Esau is coming, and he has 400 men with him, and this, of course, is only confirming Yaakov's fears of what is going on. His brother is coming not just to meet him, but also to kill him. Right? He's not greeting. He's going to come and kill with these 400 men. That's the line of thought. And so I'm gonna read a little bit further on. All right, so we get to the point where he has 400 men with him. So in my Bible is verse 7 here. Genesis 32:7. Then Yaakov, Jacob, was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people who were with him and the flocks and herds and camels into two camps, thinking if Esau comes to the one camp and attacks it, then the camp that is left will escape. And Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me," this was your idea, "return to your country and to your kindred, that I may do you good. I'm not worthy of the least of all the deeds of steadfast love and all the faithfulness that you have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become two camps. Please deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he may come and attack me, the mothers and the children. But you said, I will surely do you good, and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude." So he stayed there that night, and from what he had with him, he took a present for his brother Esau. 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milking camels and their calves, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. These he handed over to his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, "Pass on ahead of me and put a space between drove and drove." He instructed the first, "When Esau, my brother, meets you and asks you, 'To whom do you belong? Where are you going? And whose are these ahead of you?' Then you shall say, 'They belong to your servant Yaakov, Jacob. They are a present sent to my lord Esau. And moreover, he is behind us.'" He likewise instructed the second and the third and all who followed the droves. "You shall say the same thing to Esau when you find him, and you shall say, 'Moreover, your servant Jacob is behind us.' For he thought, I may appease him with the present that goes ahead of me, and afterwards I shall see his face. Perhaps he will accept me." So the present passed on ahead of him, and he himself stayed that night in the camp. All right. Thoughts, questions, concerns, comments, conundrums? No? Nothing? Okay. All right. Yeah, raise your hand so she can see you. Good job.
Okay. Even though he was kind of semi-trusting God, reminding him, he still had a fear because he really deserved the punishment that Esau, Esau hated him because of what he did. So he had the fear for reason.
All right. Sharon?
He was very human. He believed God, but he had a backup plan.
Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. Okay? This is something that I've been contemplating a little bit, reading this parsha, because there is. I'm gonna divide this in two ways, and you can agree or disagree with my labeling here. But when it comes to trusting God, there's okay. I'll try to eschew the labels for the moment. So on one hand, we have, oh God, I trust you. You're going to do it all. Go. And the other is, God, I trust you. Therefore, I'm going to do everything within my power to do this and this and this and make sure that it happens. So, which way is right? Okay, way up front. We've got Bob and then Grant. Hurry. Yeah, right in the very front. There you go.
Well, I don't see Jacob as a bad guy. I see him as a good guy. Mm-hmm. He's the kind of guy, given an idea, he gets busy and he stays busy. So, of course he fears God. He had this epiphany. He knows that God, he says, Hine, Anochi imach, behold, I am with you. So he feels secure in that, and then to do his part, he had to be precise in giving tribute. And so he divided the tribute the three ways and so on. So it was, I would say, I would lean toward Jacob, knowing that in order to get the full blessing, you've got to do the full preparation.
All right, then Grant, raise your hand again so she can see you. Awesome.
Okay, so my first thought with this was he's not having faith, was my first thought.
Okay.
Because he was one or the other, like the children of Israel in the land of Egypt, in the wilderness. But faith preparing the fields. And so if you really think about it, he was having faith because he to make it happen.
Okay.
To make it happen.
Okay. So doing what he could do. Okay, Daniel. And then Claude. And then I saw somebody over here. I don't know who it was. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the things, I feel like this is a little bit of a modern conundrum or issue, but I think there's this idea by God. And I do feel like that idea that God gives us gifts and abilities. God gives us gifts and abilities, and he gives us the ability to have discern those on top of that. So there's an ability to act and make right decisions. And I mean, it makes sense. If you've irritated the guy who has 400 guys coming towards you, then you want to assuage that and kind of pacify him a little bit with a gift. That's the way I've always heard this in basic way to interpret it, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with making a smart decision and trying to, basically make things right, because Jacob, right, fair and square, so to speak, but then he had that blessing was a really sly way to get that, Rebecca's prompting, but it was still, it felt very deceptive, very concerning how that whole process went down. So try to calm things down. I think it is that ability to use your gifts that you have. And
Okay. And maybe he's making things right a little bit, right? Like right around, and right behind you, we've got another. Thank you. Good job.
Well, I got a different take. I thought more New Testament sanctification, like using the early days of his walk. And sanctification, I hope I'm saying correctly, is a lifelong process. So as you go on in your faith, you see more things of God's testimony of how he's being faithful to you. So I think he was more like that stage of his walk. Yeah, he saw God. Saw God face to face and didn't die. At times we're getting our first belief and it's happening. We encourage us, and as we go along, more encouragement. So I think he's just like like any of us, a new believer.
I feel like that's a stretch. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because I would say that when he came to Levon, 20 years prior, that was probably, I would say that was probably the case. He basically, when we have him at Bethel, right, and he's saying, hey, this is Beit El, this is the house of God, and we have the stairs and the angels ascending and descending.
Below everything. Below everything.
It was just what?
It was just below the fear.
Okay. So you're saying he had faith, but he also had fear.
Yep.
So that's what, okay. He had faith, but he also had fear.
Yep.
So that's what, okay. So I think, so I think that let me say it this way. I wonder if Jacob is having a bit of a crisis of faith. I wonder if he's saying, if he's reminding God, hey, remember you said this and this was your idea, and like I don't have an army, and yet here's this one. I don't remember what it was, like 361 or 3 rescue Lot. Like this was, yeah. All right, Austin. All right, Austin. So I think, okay, so if we're talking about this concept of faith and even whether Jacob had a lot of faith right now or not, he was making preparations and really working towards the outcome, right, that he was believing God for. Where I think we see this throughout Scripture, right? So going back to that first thing, I don't see it as biblical to say, oh God, I need this, you do it, thanks, and that be it. But we do what we can do, and God, like, going back to somebody was talking, I think maybe it was Grant, was talking about praying for rain and then preparing the field. Like, you can't make it rain. You can't, you put a seed in the ground and, hopefully you have water and all this, but like, now you can't even run. And how many of us would have still crossed the river? I'm just going to say I would struggle I would be like, kids,